Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the science fiction drama The Gateway, a brand new 2018 movie, an Australian science fiction movie that in a lot of ways was very similar to the science fiction movie that I reviewed last year called Antimatter, which was a British made science fiction movie. And these two films are very similar in a lot of ways. What makes this one stand out? Well, it's very well made, it's very well acted, and it's quite a clever intellectual science fiction movie. This, if you're wanting to watch a science fiction movie that's going to get the blood pumping and get the excitement going, this isn't for you guys. But what we have here is a fairly slow-paced, well-made, well-written, like I say, quite intellectual science fiction movie. And what we get with this movie is at the beginning we have a scientist, I think she's called Jane, who is working on this particle emitter type thing in this lab in Australia. She's not having much success. She's starting to be put under pressure by the money people. So what they basically do is they up the ante, her and her assistant, and they start taking risks. And what they're doing is they're trying to transfer like an apple from one place to another. Like the fly, they've got like these booths where they're putting one thing in there and they want to transfer it to the other one. And they do a test and it succeeds. But rather than the apple turning in the other booth, it's just disappeared and they can't figure out where it's gone. And they slowly figure out that actually it must have gone to a parallel universe, which is a theory they've been working on. All in the while at home, she's married with two teenage kids, and there's a tragedy at home, and her husband, who she's deeply in love with, is killed in a car crash. So it's all very upsetting, everyone's really devastated, and in a fit of depression really, she decides that she's going to test this machine on herself and fly herself into a parallel universe, because they figure out and prove that this is real, these parallel universes, because they start communicating with each other across these parallel universes by sending messages in the booths. So she sends herself to this parallel universe in the hope that she actually might find her husband again, because she's grieving. She gets over in this parallel universe, she finds her husband. He pleads with her to bring him back, because in his world she's the person who died in a car accident. He comes back, reintroduced into the family, but things just aren't right at all. And he basically creeps around the place, acting really broody and creepy, and he's clearly not the same person. He's clearly not her husband, even though he looks like him. And that's what we've got here. So it's essentially that parallel universe transporting back and forth, and we have turns into like a psychological thriller by the end. And that's it. That's all I want to really start and say in the story. I don't want to spoil anything for you there too much. Just give you the basic outline. But yeah, we have a pretty well made movie here. It kept me glued to the screen, I suppose you could say. I think that's fair enough to say. I watched it interested. I was interested where the characters were going to go, what was going to happen. I was worried for people by the end. Faults with the movie, well, it doesn't shove the science down your throat, which is a good thing, which is one thing Antimatter did do. It really pushed it down your throat, and it was too intellectual at times, that movie. This one doesn't do that, but it almost simplifies it too much. I mean, at the beginning it shows them doing a test and they put it up to 50 and everything fails, and she's like, a couple of days later, oh, I've had enough of this. So they put it up to 350, and it suddenly works. It was too simplified. It was a bit like, really? It failed on 50 and everything blew up, but when you turn it up to 350, it's all okay. So a lot of the science was a bit dumbed down, I suppose you could say. It all got a bit Back to the Future by the end, I suppose, as well. Get a little bit, not confusing, but a bit convoluted. And the guy who played the main villain, got a bit pantomime mustache twirling by the end. I wasn't overly convinced by that performance, but pretty entertaining film we've got here. Pretty clever science fiction movie, not difficult to watch, fun, well made, well acted. When they do give you some effects, they're fairly believable, fairly grounded. And I would say this is easier to watch than Antimatter, but they're probably on par in regards to quality, I suppose you could say, if you've seen Antimatter. But yeah, I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. It's a film that I enjoyed, and I think it's worth watching if you're a fan of intellectual science fiction, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and please, if this is your first time visiting the channel, please join us and subscribe. You are most welcome, and it really does help the channel if you do that. Thanks for watching, everybody.